Have you ever noticed a child receiving a warmer reaction after agreeing with one parent over the other? At first, it may seem like an ordinary conversation, but over time, the child may begin noticing that certain answers bring more smiles, more attention, or more approval. During separation or ongoing conflict, some children gradually discover that staying neutral does not always receive the same emotional response. Instead, showing agreement with one parent may suddenly seem to make that relationship feel calmer, closer, or more secure. This is often where children begin learning that loyalty can receive emotional rewards. The child is not usually trying to choose one parent over the other. They are trying to understand what helps important relationships feel emotionally safe. For some adults, hearing that the child agrees with them or shares their view of the other parent may temporarily reduce feelings of hurt, rejection, uncertainty, or loneliness. That sense of reassurance may naturally be expressed through extra warmth, encouragement, affection, or approval from the adult. Over time, those reactions quietly teach the child something important. The child begins noticing which conversations make the adult happier, which opinions receive more warmth, and which responses seem to strengthen the relationship. Before long, the child may begin carrying a quiet emotional burden. They may start wondering whether staying neutral could disappoint someone they love, or whether agreeing with one parent is the safest way to protect that relationship. That is what makes this pattern so difficult for the child. Instead of feeling free to form their own thoughts about each parent, they begin feeling responsible for giving the emotional response that seems to keep one important relationship secure. Over time, the child may stop asking, "What do I honestly think?" and begin asking, "What answer will make them happy?" Some children begin agreeing more often. Others become quieter whenever they feel differently. Some even begin repeating opinions they are not completely sure they believe, because those responses seem to protect an important relationship. From the outside, it may look like the child simply prefers one parent. But underneath, they may be responding to a pattern that has gradually taught them which answers feel emotionally safest. You may recognize this feeling from your own childhood. Maybe you remember noticing that one parent seemed happier, more affectionate, or more relaxed whenever you agreed with them. Over time, those repeated experiences can become automatic. The child is no longer deciding what they truly feel in every conversation. Their mind has quietly learned that certain answers help important relationships feel safer. Some psychologists describe this as positive reinforcement. That simply means a behavior gradually happens more often because repeated experiences make it feel rewarding or emotionally safer. The child is not becoming manipulative. They are becoming emotionally protective. Instead of freely discovering how they genuinely feel about each parent, they begin giving the responses that seem most likely to preserve an important relationship. What this often changes is not only what the child says. It changes how relationships begin to feel. Instead of trusting their own thoughts first, they begin watching for signs of approval before deciding what feels safe to express. Instead of feeling equally free to love both parents, they may begin believing that showing loyalty to one person is what keeps the relationship secure. Many children quietly adapt this way when approval repeatedly becomes connected to choosing sides. The adaptation may reduce emotional tension in the moment, but over time it can make the child lose confidence in forming their own independent thoughts and feelings. As adults, this may help explain why some people become highly sensitive to other people's approval. not because they lack independence, but because part of them is still asking, what response will keep this relationship safe? In healthy co-parenting relationships, children are never rewarded for choosing one parent over the other. They are encouraged to form their own relationships, their own opinions, and to love both parents without feeling that affection must be earned through loyalty. Some people describe this as a narcissistic family pattern when it happens repeatedly, because over time the child's emotional needs may gradually become secondary to the adult's emotional needs, relationship conflict, or need for reassurance. Placing emotional responsibility on the child that was never theirs to carry. Children don't usually choose sides because they want to. Sometimes they gradually learn that one choice receives more approval, more warmth, or makes one relationship feel emotionally safer. Over time, that can quietly teach the child that choosing sides feels safer than simply being themselves, not because they love one parent more, but because one choice has gradually come to feel emotionally safer. Your confusion may make more sense than you realized. Recognizing this pattern helps explain why approval may sometimes feel connected to agreement, rather than simply being yourself. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when children begin learning that approval depends on showing loyalty, another quiet adaptation often begins developing. Sometimes they start hiding happy moments, good memories, or positive experiences with the other parent, because sharing them no longer feels emotionally safe. In the next video, we'll explore why some children begin hiding positive feelings about the other parent, and how protecting one relationship can quietly change how they express love in the other. Click here to watch.